The City of Johannesburg's Group Forensics and Investigation Services has identified at least 1,500 city employees who fraudulently benefited from the special COVID-19 relief fund and other grants. Tukleko has more on the story.
The mission? To find out whether or not the city's employees were people of high moral and ethical standards. Mayoral spokesperson Mlimandlela Ndamase told us what's next.
What the mayor has done is that he has initiated a process with the labor relations within the city, advising and guiding that they should with immediate effect begin a process to bring before the disciplinary committee those members or those employees who have been identified to have been part and parcel of this particular scheme of defrauding SASSA, of defrauding the UIF, and most certainly of bringing the city into disrepute. But also, we are engaging with SASSA and we are engaging with the UIF so that we can then be able to get them as the entities that pay out these funds to compare notes with the documents that we have, to be able to cross-compare in terms of the list of employees that we have identified. And we do anticipate that out of that process, we may actually have criminal prosecutions that could be preferred against some of the employees, because what we assume is that for them to have benefited, they may have falsified certain documents, they may have fraudulently presented themselves to the various agencies as persons who are vulnerable and therefore qualifying for these particular grants, and that must be investigated thoroughly so that should there be criminal prosecutions that follow, the evidence has been gathered and can be presented to the prosecuting authority.
The Organization Undoing Tax Abuse says it condemns these acts of corruption in the municipality.
It's completely irresponsible and unacceptable of the staff of the administration. In fact, we want to see the full brunt of the law taken. I think it's manipulation of the system. And this is unfortunately a problem we see all over the country when it comes to municipalities. And people living in the municipalities, the residents, don't really know much about politics and all those kinds of things. And it's time that we all take a stand.
Now that these fraudsters have been identified, not only do we hope that they will face the full might of the law, but also that government will do more to restrict corrupt activities. For now, let's hear from those that are affected the most, the general public. What do they think about fraud and corruption?
Fraud and corruption in this country is dire and it's devastating and it's bad. And I don't think it's given that, a good platform, because people queue there. And I know of someone who stays abroad. He applied for the 350, she got it. She just was doing a lucky thing. And I know of people who've been pending, but the money's out. Somebody is eating on that money, someone's money. And people really need this money. They don't get this money. This money, I can tell you that people who are working, they eat on this money. People who are in government, they eat on this money. So now you tell me where there is fairness. If the president says this is for the COVID and it's for the poor, it's not for the poor. The poor get nothing. And I think when you're poor in this country, you'll stay poor. Poverty is too much. It makes me feel, it grieves my spirit. I really don't like it.
No, I'm really very upset because those people, that money was supposed to be for those that's hungry, to feed them. And I don't see why they had to steal that money. I'm very, very angry. Very angry.
Fraud is against the people, especially if it's done by government officials, because we entrust them with our money, the government money, but then we can't do anything about it because they're up there, we're here.
Well, I think it's a great pity and a shame because it's something that we've been struggling for a while with. And I think government's intentions are clear, that they want to get rid of a lot of these unnecessary things that happen. And then I think it's necessary that they realize that they need to be an example to all of us. You lead by example.
It's a very saddening situation, especially when we look at our government officials, as we put them there with our own fingers, with our own hopes that they'll even betterment our lives.
My thoughts on fraud is that I feel like it's very unfair, especially living in a country where a lot of people are looking at certain benefits of living in a democratic country. I feel like everybody should have the right to live a fair life.